Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Today's question comes from somebody who texted me. They're a CRA and they texted me, anybody can do this too, 949-415-6256. They said, hey, how do you address PI oversight issues with the PI as a CRA? I know this could be a touchy subject. Any tips? I want to be assertive, but I don't want to battle them. So here's the thing. Here's why it's touchy. Every issue at the site level is reflective of PI oversight. No matter who's delegated to do that task and who screwed up at the site, it all boils down to PI oversight. That's what the 1572 says. That's what the FDA expects. And because of that, you, the great CRAs that are out there, also expect this. Every individual is different. I've had PIs who would ask me, hey, are you sure there's nothing else we can do to improve our process? Are you sure there's nothing else I can do to improve my oversight? I love those kind of PIs because they're always proactive. They're looking for suggestions. I've had other PIs, and I wouldn't say this is the majority either, but I've had other PIs where no matter what you do and how you break it down to them to make it less painful and less combative, they just want to argue and they want to prove that no, you're wrong as a matter of fact, and they're a doctor and you're not. And so part of the answer is like a cop-out, like, because you got to treat everyone different. Not everyone's going to be the same. Not everyone's the same personality. Obviously, it's a lot easier to deal with the ones that are proactive. I'm assuming you're dealing with one that maybe is a little touchy about this stuff. So know your role. The first thing you want to do is you want to approach with humility. You want to admit, hey, I'm not the physician, you are. Even if you are, let's say you're an international medical graduate. So you're a physician, but you're a CRA in this case. Hey, these are your patients, right? These are not my patients. These are your patients. I don't have the relationship with them. Always try to find an angle or approach where you're coming from humility. That's number one. Don't be combative. Come with humility. Number two, you want to actually give them specific things that happen. So in this instance, let's say they weren't present during the informed consent and they signed the informed consent maybe a day later, but the process of consent said the coordinator did it. So you can say, look, I understand your process of consent, you don't necessarily have to be there. You did demonstrate oversight by at least signing the document, maybe adding a note to file or a progress note of what you personally did discuss with the patient. If you had an opportunity later, even if it wasn't the day of the consent. This is one example I had recently with a PI. Or maybe it's something like you haven't checked lab results in a timely manner. Like, see, if you approach like with that, you're kind of accusing. So what you want to say is, hey, I've noticed you guys are busy here. I've noticed you have other providers. Is there a way we can get these labs reviewed quicker? Because at the end of the day, the FDA is looking for this because this is PI oversight. And then you can kind of re-educate them and let them know, hey, I'm just trying to help. Maybe I understand you may not be able to do it right away because you're busy, but maybe you have a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant or another MD colleague that can review right away. Is there a way you guys can implement that? When you approach with that kind of an angle, you're going from accusations or, hey, I caught you doing this when you shouldn't be, to, hey, I noticed this is a problem, but I think we have solutions that we can come up with. And quite honestly, use examples from the past as a monitor. One of the things I've noticed is PIs like to hear how other PIs at other sites are handling these things. One of the reasons they do that, I think, is some of them are competitive, so they want to say, well, if these guys can do it over there, then we can certainly do that too. So they might actually improve their processes because of competition. Competition's a good thing. Other times, they just want to know, hey, you as the CRA, you're the expert with how PIs handle things because they only know how things operate at their site, if they even know that. You as a CRA have 7 to 8 sites on average per study. So you have best practices you can pull from. So if you use best practices from some of the best sites that you work at or that you monitor, and kind of explain to the PI how they handle those things. That might be a better approach too, because you're kind of giving them like insider information. Like they're almost like not allowed to hear that because it's the competition, and you don't need to mention names, but they'll know, or maybe they'll know, maybe they won't know. Who cares? But it's something extra, right? It's something helpful. It's something that's value add to them. So know your role. Don't try to argue with them on clinical things. Always defer to the sponsor for that. But when it comes to things like signing things in a timely manner or informed consent, always lead with understanding. Hey, I understand you're busy. I understand your patients love you, and you seem to have a great group here. Some of my other sites, when they get into these issues, this is how they handle this stuff. Approach with like that kind of a helpful attitude. I think it will go a long way. Good luck. It's not easy. Hopefully it's something along the lines of what you were expecting from the answer, but I don't know. These things are tough. Guru Nation, take care.